Okay, so welcome to this stream. As you know, we had been doing Rust before. We took a break. Now we're back. We're using the Rust book. But now I think we're just gonna have to maybe do Rustlings to refresh and to remember the syntax of the language and everything, right? So I think that's what we'll do. Let's do Rustlings. Yeah. So I have Rustlings program. Yeah. I'd probably like to start it afresh because before I had solved a couple of those problems there. Maybe we should uninstall it and install it again. So we start afresh, have something fresh. Yeah, so I have this audio thing on the background. You tell me if it's good or not, or if it's working or not. And I also worked on my setup, as you see. I got a mic and an extra keyboard. So you tell me if something is wrong. Maybe the audio is too loud, like background music. Yeah, you can tell me that maybe in the chat or somewhere. Yeah. Au bord des battants noirs, la lune n'a pas eu le temps de dissuader le vent, Right, so we have Rustlings. How do we uninstall this one? Or cargo install? What is the cargo command for uninstalling? Setup. Était-ce l'insouciance du hasard que l'on a vu sortir trop en retard et qui sous ta fenêtre a oublié l'appel du temps, l'éternité. Il est trop tôt ce soir. So let's remove the old one. Au bord des battants noirs. And pas eu le temps. I think it's cargo install. De dissuader le vent. Était-ce la figure du triste monde? Colère de la mer qui monte. Était-ce le fond des villes, les ports trop loin? Actually, it had nothing to do with the folder here. Actually, yeah. Okay, well, it's updated it, yes. What about what we had? Wait, let's see. To initialize the Rustlings directory. Yeah, but why does it install 2? Oh yeah, okay. Look, it's in cargo bin Rustlings. All right. Yeah, it did create one here. Okay, that's cool. Okay, now we need to cd into it. I think that's it. So I think I can just end Vim. Okay. Okay, that's cool. I mean, so these ones are not yet solved, I guess. So we need to solve. So yeah, so let's just stay on Rustlings and maybe try to do a refresher quickly on things. Yeah, right. But all right. Okay, let's get going. Yeah, print and print line macros. Okay.
Sul suo viso respiro il suo respiro
Also hexadecimal.
e quanto vorrei risvegliare
So this is basically the print
da quel
macro, yeah, and print line, basically how formatting works, yeah. Okay. So here you can write, justify text within with a specific width.
Che tu avrai se tu lo vuoi. E quanto vorrei risvegliare da quel suo sogno io non potrei.
Okay. So these are padding numbers with extra zeros. Left adjust. So you need this here. Hey. This is a radio. Hey. Yeah, it's Rust programming language. Just there's this Rust book. I'm just going over it. Yeah. Netherlands. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've been coding Rust. Yeah. I'm just doing a refresher because I was like out of it for a few months. Yeah. So yeah, the Rust book and doing this in Envim. Oh, yep. So I'm going through Rustlings. There's this program in Rust. It's called Rustlings, and then it basically has like exercises. that you solve. So there are like problems there, and then you just fix them, and pretty good way to go on with the language. And there's this Rust Bible, as it were. Does it here? This one. Yeah. Nice syntax. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Also, my setup is new, like my everything. So I'm also testing it in case stuff doesn't work well. Yeah. So, and also, this is like the first raid that I've had. I go back to streaming today, so yeah, pretty cool. Yep. I think I was looking at source. How do you mean? Ah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for the raid. I didn't know how raids work. I just saw this is like the first one. Yep. Okay. So I was looking at the video quality is 372p. Okay. Yeah, I think it should be. What is that? Is it not okay? Probably too zoomed out, or what was it? Yeah, it's a bit more difficult to read. Yeah, okay. I see. I could try to change that one, actually. Yeah. .1080p. Yeah. Maybe have to do that afterwards. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's something I'll fix after now. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the tip. So this is it with prints, I think. Yeah, pretty much that. You said where am I? I'm in Germany, Berlin actually. Yeah. Big German community on Switch. Oh, he's there. Okay. Interesting. I should check them out. Yeah, but I come across people streaming in German. Yeah, I do. Propped TV. Okay. Yeah. I'll check them out and see what they do. Oh, that's them here actually. Creative Chaos Director. Design gaming. Okay. Okay. speaks English too. Yeah. I just followed him and see. Okay. Yeah. Okay, variables. I think we've done, yeah, mutability. So variables in Rust, yeah, you use the let keyword for a new variable, and then you do the assignment, and that's pretty much it for variables. Of course, variables by default they are immutable. If you want a mutable one, you have to use the keyword mute. Yeah. What else? Constants, yeah, you just say const. Yeah, I specify the type. Okay. And then for shadowing, you can have one variable and redeclare it basically. And then this becomes like the shadow of the other one. Like, so here we declare x variable, which is an immutable variable to be 5, and then we do shadow in here basically, as it's called, and then the new value here would be 6. Yeah. And then in this block, just within this block, we have the same variable like x now, and then it will be like the previous value times 2, which will be 12 here, just here. So at this point we be printing 12 here. But what about here? Value is still 6. Yeah, okay. Well, I think I probably want to also, maybe you should try no, wait. Okay.
I can sense in the air a different kind of breeze.
Or
In each breath that you
no, maybe I just call it
part of me you see. Watch your hands in the shadow.
what? There's already one already exists.
Sight
Didn't I remove this? Oh yeah.
tomorrow. The moon is red tonight. Red, lovely moon in the heat of
So
the fire.
let's create a new binary, the book for writing, making tests and whatever I want to do.
With
Okay.
love, desire. Red, lovely moon in the heat of the fire. Red, lovely moon with the glow of desire.
Okay.
Glow of the night. You curse me as I slide.
So I want to write this program.
To the other side.
I have the main function, and it was like let x be
Dangerous game.
what was it? This thing was 5, right?
Take me on if you can. The moon is red tonight.
Shadowing here.
Red, lovely moon
Mm-hmm. And then we're doing something like this.
Red lovely moon with the glow of desire. Red lovely moon
Okay.
in the
I
heat
think it was like,
of fire.
yeah, we can do whatever I wanted to do here. Oh no, I just want to test exactly this.
Lovely
Oh, that was +1. Okay.
with the glow of desire.
The macro. X is.
Slowly, I surrender in this evening summer dream, falling now as I stand and crazy as it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know you're taking over me. No longer can I fight.
Okay, so it compiles without any problems.
Free as I can be. The moon is red tonight. Red lovely moon in the heat of the fire.
Also, I got a new keyboard. It was a custom keyboard, so it's a bit tricky to type with it. Maybe I can even show you the keyboard. It's like, this is one of it. Like, so I'm using like splits. Yeah, because I was having like
With the glow
shoulder pains and the rest. So yeah, getting used to the keyboard a bit. Yeah.
red lovely moon.
So now I type like a beginner. Yeah. So the value of x here at this point. Yep, just x. And I think that's it. Right. So yeah, we can run this one. I think it was like T, yeah. And I can run this. It's probably value of x is 12. Yeah. Yeah, at this point it was 6. Yeah. Sorry, here it was 6. And then in this block it became 6 times 2, 12. What about this one? It didn't get to print it. Maybe it says yeah, so what something, did we save it or what? This is inside of the main function, but let's try to do that again. It should just be cargo run. We don't have to save it. There's nothing to do. Yeah, just wasn't saved, that's all. Okay. Yeah, so at this point x is 6 because it was just this block, and then got it here. Okay, of course, that's just me wanting to try some of the examples we see quickly. Yeah, so that is for what, shadowing. What else? Yep. Remember we started from yeah. I don't need this anymore. Get off. Yep. So it's variables. So yeah, now we can just take care of this one. So this is how the rustling thing works. Like, so the program is running, and there, all of this stuff that are like red are where there are issues in the code. We just fix them. and then we just do a refresher. That's all. So it wants us to add the missing keyword here. Is the main function? Yeah, it's a function. Yeah. Of course, the missing keyword here is let. Come on. Yep, that's it. And then this. I think some of these are really simple, but I guess it becomes harder. Change the line below to fix the compiler error. So we get hints from the compiler here. It says what type annotations needed, cannot satisfy. That's partial. Oh wait, I used to have something in. I'm using LazyVim, by the way. I used to have, what was that? Diagnostics, I think it was called. Is it X? Yep. Okay. Yeah, that allows me to see what this error is. So it cannot satisfy partial equal. Okay. I'm just checking whether this lower third I have here is blocking what you're seeing. But yeah, okay. So this we have let x. It's not initialized. It's just a variable that is declared here. And this is the line we have to fix. But here we say if x has the same value as 10. Yeah, I think we just need the type because you cannot do the comparison. That's why it's talking about partial equal. This is a trait, by the way. Partial equal is a trait from the compare. Okay. So I think this can be an I32. Used binding x is not initialized. Well, I guess we can just initialize it, but if we initialize it, then we don't need to have the type declaration there, right? So we can. Oh, what's this? Yeah. What if I say x is 1? Yeah, because the type declaration is implicit. It takes that implicitly. Okay, let's move on to the next one then. Oh, wait. So change the line to whatever. What's this one? Okay, so same thing. X is declared. I mean, the type here is also provided, and then it wants us to just to print the value. So there's no value. It's not initialized. That's all. So I can get rid of the type here and make it implicit and just say 32. Yeah. Next. Okay. So we shouldn't change this line. But then what? So we have a variable x. It's initialized with the value of 3, so it's automatically an I32. That just means a positive integer, yeah. And there's a print line here, which prints the number. Which prints x after this, and then here x is 5. We shouldn't change this. Of course we won't change it, but this is basically shadowing, so we just need to But it says we shouldn't change this. Is there some other way? There's no other way to fix that. Like, we didn't change the value, we only added the keyword that was missing. Okay, so what? Let number, which is a string slice, or rather reference to a string slice. This is the type. This type here. It's 3. It says don't change this line, and there's a print line here. Spell a number, and then the value is replaced here. Should fix the compiler error by changing the line below. So number is 3. So number here is a reference to a string slice, but number at this point is changed to an integer. Yeah, but shadowing can, with shadowing we can change the type. Yep, we can change the type. So this is just shadowing that they wanted us to take care of. Lurk. Yeah, okay. We should change the line below to fix compiler error. This is you decline a constant. You call it number. Does it need to have a type? How do you do what is a constant really? It's just a value that is going to always be in the binary at every point in time, right? So do you have to have a type? Why is it not implicit? That's it. Okay. But wait. Declaring constants. So like immutable variables, constants are values that are bound to a name and are not allowed to change, of course, yeah? They aren't just immutable by default, they are always immutable, yes. But why is it, why can it not take the, why can the type not be inferred? I mean, not here actually. It doesn't know about that. So let me ask this dude here. In Rust, why can't wait, if I do const number 3 or 2, yeah, why can't the type be inferred? Why do I have to be explicit? Whatever, it knows that. In Rust, const requires an explicit type addition because typing phrase does not apply to constants. Well, that's repetitive. Like why? Okay, so now here's why. Constants are evaluated at compile time. It makes sense. And embedded directly into the binary yes, wherever they're used. The compiler needs to know the exact type up front. Okay, that makes sense. Optimization here. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So we go next, functions. Let me just try to refresh quickly on what functions are. I mean, we've been using functions already, but yeah. Just trying to zoom in because I didn't fix the resolution thing yet. Fix that later. So functions in Rust. This is how they're written. Snake case, yeah. This is a function, another function. So every Rust program has a main function normally. I mean, every binary crate would have a main function. So in Rust, we have like either binary crate or library crate, as they're called, yeah. Which is like the binary crate is the program or the function that is called when the application starts or the program starts. Okay, so we know how to write a function. And then parameters. Functions can have parameters, yes. So this is how we have passed normally. Yeah.
If you want it, baby, yeah, you got it, baby. But
Okay.
it's okay, 'cause I'm here to play. I'm competitive, baby. So let's go crazy.
Okay, this is just statements and expressions, right? So where you do assignments and the rest. And then the functions can also have return values, and you have to specify a return type. But the main one doesn't usually have a return type. It just doesn't need to return anything. Okay. Where is our... Yep. So we can use this and...
Fourth quarter, baby. It's all on the line. Tell me how bad do you want it? We're running out of time. So competitive, baby. Win or lose, it won't faze me. Tell me how.
Okay. So this is a main function. We can have a function to add two numbers, maybe. Where's this one? I'm trying to find my underscore key. Oh yeah, okay. Add two. So a function that adds two numbers will definitely take two parameters as input, right? So maybe just like x, it will have a type, positive integer, and y also a positive integer. And this will bring us to the famous borrow checker thing in Rust. Okay, so here the two parameters are immutable, yeah. So they are basically owned types, they're not referenced, so you have to pass the actual values there. So now what will be the return? So it has to return a sum, right? We want this to return also I32 value, yeah, so that's the same type as what it takes in. So we're just gonna say we can do x plus y. I think that's it. We don't need to. Do we need to do anything else? No. So that's it. So now main function will call this. Let result be add 2, and we can supply the values here, 20 and 55 maybe. Okay.
Guess I'm on my feelings about it. This never happens to me. Nah, riding down around a time.
Is this too loud a bit? I guess.
I can't breathe. Maybe I'm falling in love.
Yep. Probably better.
I hear the church bells.
Okay. Yes, I think.
Got me good, boy.
Why does it?
Got me good.
Well.
Stuck up on your loving,
Yep.
your touch, it drives me so damn crazy.
Okay. Just functions. That's it. Return type and the rest.
You put a charm around my wrist and open my door. Give me all the loving, baby. Forever yours, forever yours. I hear the church bells.
Okay, so that's it on with functions here.
You got me good,
Maybe.
got me good.
Yeah, so we know our functions was generally, so let's just do this one. So to do, it's asking us to add some function and that's with the name call me without arguments or return value. Okay. Oh, come on. Oh, this is... Yeah, it should be here somewhere. Yeah, call me. Doesn't take anything, and it also doesn't return any value, so no return type, but it can be like so, I think. This means unit type, I guess. Shouldn't this be equivalent? Yep. Okay, now it tells me it's unneeded. I know. Okay, it's okay. Because it leads the type there, so that's fine. What now? But because it doesn't return anything, you don't need this, or what is this? I don't get it. Expected type found that... Wait, hold on. I said it should return the unit type. And it said... Oh, okay. I said unneeded unit return type. So if it doesn't need this, then and how would that look? You definitely need to have function call me. It doesn't return anything. If I remove the unit type that it says it doesn't need, yeah, now a syntax error. Yep, exactly. If you remove this, you probably also don't need this, right? Yep. Okay. And it wants us to add the missing type of the argument num after the semicolon. So num, add the missing type of the argument. So the call me function has num as an argument, and what do you mean missing type? After the colon. Wait, call me takes num, it's an i32 value. So it iterates over. So it iterates over an array, or like an iterable. Actually, it's it goes from 0 to num. Yeah, it iterates over that, prints this out, and doesn't return anything. Okay, and it says cannot find value num in this scope. 0 to num, but num is here. So the main function uses this and says 3, add the missing type of the argument. Oh, yeah, this is not here yet. It's just it's a helper from the Rust analyzer or whatever it is. Yeah, it's okay. So now we should write that. I was looking at it that it was already there. Okay. Okay, that's it. Yep. Next one is function call me again. Yeah. So now this is an unsigned integer. U8 goes from an initial value from 0, yeah, to num. Function is fine here, and there is a problem, which is what? Yeah, the only thing here is should take a value. That is yeah. Okay. Okay, the store is having a sale where if the price is an even number, you get 10 Rust books off. Rust books off. But if it's an odd number, it's 3 Rust books off. Start having a sale where if the price is an even number, you get 10 Rust books off. Okay. But if it's an odd number, it's 3 Rust books off. Don't worry about the function bodies themselves. We are only interested in the signatures for now. Okay. So we have is even. Takes a parameter of assigned integer value 64 bits, and it returns a bool. It does num, the remainder of that, the remainder after dividing that with 2, if it's 0, of course, this is a regular, is even, what is that, formula, whatever, yeah. So if you fix the function signature, so sale price takes price as an input parameter. If is even, which it calls that function, yeah. If it's even, yeah, it reduces. Wait, price minus 10. Oh yeah, you already have the price, but it says if it's an even number, you get 10 Ross books off, but this is price. Okay, otherwise 3, you're just reducing price by 3. It shouldn't be price. It should be a count, not a price. But anyway, so we shouldn't worry about the function, but it's just interested in the signatures. Yeah, so this just needs to, is the return type that is not valid, because here it's going to return a signed integer here, and here it will also return a signed integer. Why should the sales price be a signed integer? Anyway. I know that too well. Oh, played with love, been so bad. Okay. Says we should fix the function body without changing the type signature. Now ain't that the truth? Second. Finally understand what I've been missing. It's the only thing that I could ever think about. Don't know what to do. Life just ain't worth living without you. 1 second. Everybody told me there will come a day that I meet the one and start to feel some type of way. Like I can't go on living. Okay. Right here beside me, baby. So I guess you can see love wins. Right. Okay. Let's. So fix the function body without changing signature. So we have square. It takes num as an input parameter. Oh yeah. Okay, that's it. So done with functions. Let's see conditionals. So control flows, right? Yeah. Just the if expression. It's branches. So how it works is conditional. It takes one branch, else another branch. Yeah. So if expression. So and that's key because it's the if is an expression in Rust because it can evaluate to a value, so it can return a value. All right. And it says that blocks of code associated with this are sometimes called arms. So basically, the code inside the if block is called an arm. The one in the else block is also called an arm, right? So here we have, yeah, if expression, and then the arm. Okay. So multiple conditions with else if. So you have like if, and you do something with the if block or arm, and then you do else if, another conditional or condition, and you do something in the arm. So like that until you have the else. But this is really verbose. It's probably hard to read, but it works if you have just a few of them. Yeah, so like what you have 1, 2, it's okay. It's not hard to read. Isn't if in a let statement? Yeah, this is what I was saying, that the if is it's an expression. Yeah, it's an expression because it evaluates to a value that can be returned. So like here, this is the expression on the right hand side, and then you can assign the return value to something. So it's an expression. So you can say let this and then take care of that. Nice. Okay. So loops. Again, this is control flow. So we would look at conditions and loops and the rest. So you have different kinds of loops. You have Yes, 3 kinds of loops in Rust. You have loops themselves, like loop. You have while and for. So loop is just what it is, loop. Just keep going. So you say loop and then you have a block. Okay. And so here we create a counter, which is a mutable variable, and then we loop inside of the arm or block. We first increment counter by 1, and then we check that if 10 has been reached, then we have a break statement here. Break counter times 2. What does this exactly do? If it's 10, I know we'll break, yes, but what about counter times 2? Okay, so one of the uses of a loop is to retry an operation you know might fail, such as checking whether the thread has completed. You might just pass the result of the operation out of the loop to the rest of the code. Okay. To do this, you can add the value you want returned after the break expression. Yeah, you use to stop the loop. Okay. Yeah, because like in Java, for example, you just break. Yeah. Okay. So here this is the value you want to return. Oh yeah, it makes sense, because when you add this that you want to be returned, this is also an expression because it returns a value. Yeah, here to result. So at this point, when we are doing counter times 2, so first we increment, we do 1, so we start from 1, and then when we get to 10, if counter is 10, so at this point, so we had 9 before, and then we increment it plus 1, yeah, and then we do counter, that's 10 times 2 to 20. Okay, so we return 20. Yeah, this case is 20. Disambiguating with loop labels. If you have loops within loops, break and continue apply to the innermost loop at that point. Okay, so you have a count. You also have remaining. You have one loop here. And then you can just do break because you're not returning anything here. That's fine. You also break here. Where's the second one? I thought he was talking about. So he said you can optionally specify a loop label on the loop that you can then use with break or continue. Where's the label? Okay, here. Loop label will begin with a single quote. So we say continuing up. Okay. Yeah. This is the first one. Yeah. You have to make dinner. You have to make dinner, eat, and digest. Yeah. Cool. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah. Marky Popsis. So this is the outer one. Actually, it's here all the way to here. Yeah. And then the inner one is here. So, but okay, so if this is 9, you break. Yes, makes sense. So anyway, what you're doing is this is where we're in the inner loop. You're gonna break from the inner loop here, but this would break from the outer one. This is so handy. You don't have this construct in Java, for example, or even Groovy. Like anyway, yeah. Okay, you can target the loop you want to exit, even if you are in nested constructs. Nice. Anyway, good to know that I have this. Can always refer to it when I need it. While, yeah, the while loop is very straightforward. That's it. Yeah, this is the most interesting one actually. With the 4, looping through a collection with 4. So you have an array, index. Well, this is that's fine. I think the one that is most interesting to me is 4. Yep, 4 elements in the array. You do that. Okay, but let's. Yeah. Okay. Right. So let's value b. Wait, where's okay? Yep. So an array of values. Wait, hi. Or maybe I can actually do vectors. That's the one I remember right now. We can use the vector macro. Yeah. I think it's like vector. I think I can do like. Oh, come on. Okay. Sorry, I told you that I got a new keyboard. So but this is not so. It should be like so. Yep. Syntax error was wrong. What? So I have val, and I'm assigning it. I'm basically creating a vector. I'm initializing the values immediately. So why would this not work? What if I do it like if I express it in full and say it's a vector of I32 and then okay. I think the right side is the problem. It says what? Expected one of this. Oh, found that. Doesn't make sense. Anyway, let me check what we have for vectors. Collections, right? Come on, collections. Wait. Oh, I think essentially made this. Okay. Vectors, yeah. Okay, so I have to initialize a new, use a new keyword to create the vector if I want to do it in full like this, okay? Otherwise, I have to do this. Oh, the syntax was the problem. Yep. Of course it was. Yeah, okay. Yep. It's not, this is not where this has to be. It's here. Okay, also, wait. This is no longer necessary because the type is going to be inferred. Okay. Yep. So what I want to do here is for index in how do you access values of a vector again? I don't remember. Val dot, is it not iter? To iterate, get an iterator. I think this is how you iterate over. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think also for a vector. Yeah, we can just print the values anyway. Right now. Actually, I think it will be val dot get, right? So this is going to give you an option. So to access, I'm already jumping to vectors, but yeah, vectors are one of the most useful things you can have in Rust. I think useful collections. Yeah, we can do val.get, but I think there's another way to access vectors. Can you access the index like so? I think so, right? No, you cannot do that. Wait, how do you... This is how you update the vector. Push, yeah, reading elements of a vector. Yeah. You can get the reference and then the index. Yeah. This will give you the value. Otherwise, you do .get and you get an option. Okay. But wait. This is because type integer cannot... Wait. Cannot be indexed by reference to integer. Okay, so the problem is just because it's a reference type here. How do you wait, let's see, is it... Okay, yeah, that's how you'd... This thing is called, forgot the name for it. Wait, is it dereference? What's this called in Rust? You access a vector's position by doing, for example, vec index because index is a reference. Oh, come on, has this become dereferencing? Yeah, dereference. Okay, sure it was. Yeah, so dereference. I think that's why we were able to do this here. But what if I didn't want to? Yeah, but anyway. I know why as well. So when we get an iterator on a vector like this, we're going to be getting the reference. If we check the docs, we'll see that. So it returns an iterator over the slice. So the iterator is going to be, it's a new data type over the existing array that we gave it to it, right? So you're going to use the array to create an iterator. So it's just a reference to the array, and that's why we get a reference. Yeah. But if we wanted to do it, if we wanted to get the values but not the reference, we would do into iter, right? Is it not how? Yeah, into iter. Yep. Now we wouldn't need to do this because wait. Oh yeah, it was moved. Value was moved due to this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so here we no longer have access to val because it has moved. Yeah, this is now we hit the borrow checker thing. So the only way we can do that is to say value moves. So unless we like create a copy or something, because we can access that here. Well, it doesn't make sense for us to. Well, we can do that by the way to solve this problem is to create a function, and then pass the array to it and let it give you what you need. But anyway, I think we get the point. Yeah, we know we can get the value by doing it into iter. So we get an iterator with those values, not like a reference. Yeah, so that's it. And we're looking at control flow. So let's try to continue with that one. We've seen loops. Yeah. Wait, did we also see? I think we haven't seen data types, right? Because we were following where is, yep. Yeah, we haven't reached. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So we can use this. I think it's called this spread operator, if I'm not wrong. Safety and conciseness of for loops makes them most commonly used structure. Yeah. So you want to count down, you just reverse the, what is this one called? I need to, that's not an arrow. Wait, hold on. It's not a tuple as well. What is this one? Remind me what the name of this operator is called in Rust for index in a, wait, is it like that? Oh yeah, in. Range, yep. It's called a range expression. Range expression. How come it can be spread? To implement the iterator trait, what follows require. So range is an iterator. It can be spread over each value. Okay. Right. So, but by the way, when you call .rev on this, are you calling it on an iterator? I guess it is. By the way, I think we can also check in the Rust standard library. I think we can check for range. I think this is it. So start, end. And it should have, wait, how do you see this? Yeah. So the trait implementations are but why? Okay. Methods iter. So for me, I want to see why. Let me just ask this. When we call that rev on is this on the iterator? Yep. Range implements iterator. So that's what I was looking for actually. But where do I see it here? It's supposed to be, unless I'm not looking at the correct thing. I mean, I should see, it says trait implementations. So it's struct range, that's it. Standard. Oh, is it? So it says std obstruct range. But this is what I just... Okay. Where do I see... I don't remember this. Let me ask. In the standard reference, what section to see that range is actually an iterator. This should be in traits, right? Oh, come on. Okay, look for trait implementation section. It lists all the traits that run implement. You see the iterator. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. And device, where's that? Trait implementations. Oh, here, iterator. Ah, there it is. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, well, I think we got that now. We're done with control flow here. I can now go. Yep. So now we can try. Yep. So what? So here is conditional. This is our main function. We can experiment here if we want. We have a bigger function that takes two input parameters. Both of them are assigned integer 32 bits, and then they return I32 as well. It wants us to complete this function to return the bigger number. If both are equal, any of them can be returned. Do not use another function or additional variable. Okay. So we return the bigger number. If they are equal, we can return any of them. We should always return the bigger number. That's it. Okay. We can do this with if condition. I think we don't have to do this in Rust. If I'm not, yeah. So if A bigger than B or greater than B. So we can return A here. We can also do wait. We can do else if. Wait, I should. Okay, so if A is greater than B, we can return A. Otherwise, we should just return if they are equal. We can return any of them, yeah? We can return A as well. Else, let's just use else if it doesn't. It's just, yeah. Else, yeah, we return B. So it says this if has identical blocks, same as this. So if A is greater than B, else if A is equal to B. But because of the return values it means, right? Okay, what it means is that we can do guess this, right? Okay. So we can experiment here. So these are, of course, tests, but later. I think it passes because we can already see. Do I even have? Okay, no, but it's fine. Okay. We can. Yeah. We can do this with match, I guess. But anyway, we can do that later on. We probably have other places to make that one. So here, we're going to fix the compiler error on this function. What's the compiler error first? It says mismatch types, expected reference to a string slice, found integer. Yeah, this is a reference to a string slice that's been returned from here. And here is an integer. So picky eater, if food is strawberry. So first of all, the function takes food, which is a reference to a string slice that's passed to it. If food is strawberry, to return yummy, which is a string literal. Yeah. Otherwise, it returns 1. Why? Okay. You should read the test to understand the desired behavior. Make all test paths without changing them. Okay. So configure test are in the module. We import everything here into our test. This is one test function. Yummy food. This means that calling picky eater with the argument strawberry should what? Wait. Let's make this easier to read. Okay. Should return yummy. So strawberry assert equals picky eater strawberry. This passes, should pass. Neutral food. Picky eater when you say potato. I guess I can't eat that. Okay, so if food is strawberry, yummy. Now we need something like else if. How many are we gonna have? But let's see. Let's just go on. Else if food equals potato. So you're going to return, I guess, I can eat that. Okay, like so. Oh yeah, we're missing 9. We're missing this here. Yep. Okay. Say something is not properly closed. Okay. Oops. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so at least we have potato one. That's neutral food. Then the remaining test is like broccoli. No thanks. Okay. Anyway, so broccoli, gummy bears, literally anything, whatever should just be no thanks. So I think this is our else block. So it says something is not closed properly. Let's check it. I guess. Okay. It's taken care of. Animal habitat. This function takes an animal, which is a reference to a string slice. Also returns a string slice. Compiler error. The compiler error is about unknown. Yeah, that it's what? If any else have incompatible types, because these return floating point values, and these return reference to a string slice, or like a string literal. Yeah. So identifier, it's a floating point of 64 bits. So identifier resolves the value of the expression whether animal is crab. Is crab literal? Oh no, sorry. So basically, the arms of this conditional here evaluate, and then the value gets returned. So what is identifier in this case? If animal has value crab. Okay. I think I missed something in conditionals. Where is it? I saw something earlier. I think they were talking about where was it? Was it control flow?
Oh my love, you make me feel brand new.
Yeah, I think it was.
My love, I love the things you do. Oh my love,
I think it was multiple assignments, like.
'cause I love you.
Yeah, this is straightforward, but where's the one that I saw earlier? It wasn't loops, no.
We can get it on tonight. Turning up the stereo. Set the mood just
Was it in functions?
sparking my desire.
I think.
You close and whisper in your ear. Oh my love, you make me feel brand new.
I guess it was something close, but not this.
Things to do. Oh my love, I'm so
So basically, I'm trying to understand what happens.
'cause I love you. 'Cause I love you.
Trying to understand what happens here.
Tell me everything.
Wait, let's go back to it. I think it's here and Vim.
Falling more in love.
No, here. Yeah.
But you catch me with those eyes. Drinking,
Trying to understand what happens here.
sparking my desire. And then I
You have a identifier, which is going to evaluate.
you make
The right hand side is a conditional if animal is crab, and then it
all my love
goes through these arms.
brand new.
So what happens when if animal is crab 1, else if animal is gopher 2.0, else if animal is snake 3, else unknown. Okay, you know what, let's focus on solving it. We can figure out the other part after. So it says we shouldn't change the expression below, so we'll leave this as it. If identifier is 1, beach, else identifier is 2, bar, 3, there's else unknown. Okay, so that's based on identifier here. Oh yeah, so this is going to be 1, 2, 3, but this is F64. I mean, this is the final, yeah, floating point. No. Okay, let me look at the test. Gopher listening bar. So animal habitats, that's this. We give it a gopher and we say bar. Okay. If animal is gopher, 2. So we don't change this. You can compare the integer value with the floating point value, can you? No. So what if I say okay, finally snake. If I else have compatibility, yeah. Finally snake 3. Snake desert. Otherwise unknown. So else. So this becomes yeah. The value of this has changed. So that was not relevant anyway. I mean the type of this does become an ith2, which is fine. But this should not return unknown at this point. So otherwise, if it's not known, so we only know 3 types. We only know when it's 1, 2, or 3. So anything else should be it's a signed integer, so it's fine for me to say it's a -1 or whatever, or even a 0. Okay. Yeah. That is it. Okay. So the reason why it was an F64 was because the first value I think was a floating point or something. All right. So we have primitive types now. So yeah, so now we look at data types. Okay. Revaluing Rust is of a certain data type, which tells Rust what kind of data has been specified. Yeah. Rust is a statically. Wait, so we look at 2 data types: subset, scalar, and compound. Rust is a statically typed language, which means that it must know all the types of all variables at compile time. Yeah, and it does that by it's called memorization, right? Or what is that? What's it called when Rust substitutes generic types for the actual types? A compilation. Yeah, monomorphization. That's what it's called. Okay. The compiler can usually infer what type we want to use based on the value. Yep. And how we use it. Okay. So you must add a type annotation. Okay. If we don't add this type annotation shown, yeah, it will give you an error. So you can pass the string or like a string literal. You can go parse on it. So the parse will take a reference to self. Wait, why is that even like that? Dot parse. I want to do enter, or what am I? Come on. Anyway, so it will take a reference to self, and this returns a result. Returns a result of. So yeah, parse is a generic function. That has a trade bound. Oh no, the type is from string, yeah. So it has to be that. It goes to returns a result, and results. So option is some or none. Result is okay or error. So result is an enumeration in Rust that returns you okay or error. I'm referring to this. So the result type in Rust. Yeah, it's an enumeration that generic on. So result is a generic enumeration over the generic type t, generic type parameter t, and re that has two arms, okay on t or error on e on the error, yeah. Okay. Right. So it parses the string slice into another type. Because parse is so general, it can cause problems with type inference. As such, parse is one of the few where you see the turbo fish. Yeah. Okay. I think the way that works. Is it not? If I'm not wrong, you would have. So you want to pass string to a I32, I think is what I want to do. Yeah. Dot. So you call parse. It will convert this. This is already a result. Yeah. And we can do. So, when you have a result, the arms are okay or the error, right? And now you want to like map that to get the value, or like, so first of all you want to handle the error first, and then you want and then so this return you the actual value that is there. Yeah, I'm trying to remember how this worked again. Yeah, so I think for the error, to handle the error, or just, I think we can do expect. And then the message. Yeah, at this point, shouldn't we already have the value? Yeah, guess it's I32. So we use the turbo fish operator to sort of like cast this to the actual type we want, like get the type in the OK. So I was showing this arm. Yeah, the OK arm. Yeah, the type of the value that is there. And then we just print the error right away. Otherwise, we quickly return this one. Yeah. Do I need to do this? No, right? But anyway, I think I probably can. Okay. And yeah, we're looking at data types. Let's finish that up. Yep, but here we're not using the turbo fish operator. Yeah, because we specified the type here. So coming back to our example, we didn't specify a type here. So basically, we didn't specify a type here. This is, yeah, it's not specified. So if we took this out, then it would not be able to guess what it is or like infer that. Yeah, type annotation is needed. But if we give it a type and tell it, hey, I know what this should be, and I say it's an I64, then it takes care. It knows what to do. Otherwise, I have to.
I went out late for a walk last night. The stars were out.
I have to help it.
When I heard a voice inside my heart.
Yep. Using the turbo fish operator.
It said,
Now we can get rid of this.
always love that makes you run away. Isn't it always love that makes you cry again?
So scalar types,
Times it's hard
single value.
to feel blue. Though you found somebody true to
You have integers, floating points, booleans, and characters.
Don't throw it all away, 'cause love will always find a way. Isn't it always love that takes your tears away?
Yep. So yeah, integer. We know what they are. Yeah, these are the types. Just to quickly go over it. 8-bit signed is I8. Unsigned is U8. 16-bit is I16. Unsigned is U16. Like that. And you also have the up to 128.
I used to
And then you have I size that is architecture dependent. I think you need this when you are dealing with, I think it's, I think types that grow or something. Anyway, we can check that. Yeah, as we go on. Okay. So each variance can be signed or unsigned and has an explicit size. Signed and unsigned refer to whether it's possible for variance to be negative. Okay. So this is not talking about the size that can be stored there. Okay. Yeah, this is the I size and U size I was talking about. Okay, you can use the visual separator for number literals, yeah. And yeah, this is how you can write number literals. For decimals, you can write like so. Hex, yeah, octal, binary, and byte. Yep. Yeah, I know this part. I know when I read it the first time, I was a bit taken aback. I think he was trying to say something about, well, you have a variable of type U8 that can hold values between 0 and 255. If you try to change the variable to a value outside that range, such as 256, integer overflow will occur, which can result in one of two behaviors. When you're compiling in debug mode, Rust includes checks for integer overflow that cause the program to panic. Okay, so when you're in debug, then in that you will catch it. At runtime, if it occurs, Rust uses the term panicking. Yeah. But when you're compiling in release mode with the release flag, Rust does not include these checks. Instead, overflow occurs. Rust performs two complement wrapping. In short, values greater than the maximum value that the type can hold, they wrap around to the minimum of the values that it can hold. In the case of the U8, the value 256 becomes 0 and the value 257 becomes 1. Anyway, when I first read this, I was taken aback. I was like, why? But then I looked at it again and I realized it makes sense because you can already catch this in debug mode, so there's no need for that. Yeah, so they're prioritizing performance when you are doing that in release mode. So I'm just gonna stand. Maybe this thing is okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So let's go on. Yeah, that's not important. Floating point types. Yep. F32. Remainder. Boolean. So for Boolean, the type is bool. Yep. And you assign the literal to it, whether it's true or false. Character type, yeah. Specify that with a char keyword for the type. Now compound types, yeah, the ones that are most useful. You have tuples. Yeah. So this is how you would write a tuple. You come this way. The valid tuple. Yeah. So this is a valid tuple. I didn't have to specify the types because they're inferred. Yeah. Okay. Actually, you can combine different types for a tuple. It doesn't have to be one type. So I can say pizza and 0.5. Still a valid tuple. So look. Okay. And to access the to access the values in the tuple, seconds. Just 1 second. Okay. Yep. So I was gonna try to access the values of a tuple. Shouldn't be. No. I think for a tuple, you should be able to access it by doing the dots, right? Dot syntax. Let's see. I can do something like this. Why not? Position. Well, let me press print this and see. I don't know how this works. Scores. This an argument. Why do I have to specify the... Why do I have to specify... Oh, wait. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this is how you access the values here. That's 10. Okay, so I've printed the the value that's in the first position of the tuple. Yeah. So again, a tuple is just a general grouping together values into one compound type. Can grow or shrink.
Let's run away. I can take you for a ride. Let's have a glass of wine under the moonlight. Just take my
You can also destructure the tuple.
baby, just give me a sign.
Yeah, so
Behind. You met me at the perfect time. Baby, like out at night. Dance with me under the lights. Let me feel your body. I wanna feel you close.
so
Let's keep it on the low. Dance with me under
as I have a tuple now, I can say
when you love me harder, I can't let go. To show me what you want, baby. When you love me harder and pull me close, you show me what you want.
oh come on.
Baby. We don't have to think about it. We don't
Yep.
have to talk.
So it gets structured.
Just feel the rhythm. Feel the rhythm. We don't have to tell nobody, baby. Just follow my lead. I wanna feel ya. Yeah, let me feel ya. You met me at the perfect time. Baby, like out at night. Dance with me under the lights. Let me feel your body. I wanna feel you close. Let's keep it on the low. Dance with me under the lights. Let me feel your body. When you love me harder, I can't let go. To show me what you want, baby. When you love me harder and pull me close, you show me what you want, baby. When you love me harder, I can't let go. To show me what you want, baby. When you love me harder.
Yep.
Pull me close, you show me what you want, baby.
Okay. That's tuples. Now array.
Mon âme, sans armes, succombe à son charme. La fille.
Yeah, of course. Arrays contiguous locations, memory optimized, and they have to have the same type. Fixed length. So the Java language has this array list that is a list that is backed by an array, and it can grow. Yeah, it's a weird thing. But in Rust, yeah, arrays have fixed lengths. Yeah, that's it.
Ma révolte.
So arrays are stored in square brackets, and I mean you initialize them by using the square brackets and comma separated values.
Me retient la nuit.
Arrays are wait, I used to want to allocate on the stack. Yeah. By the way, when you allocate on the stack, obviously it's faster. Yeah. You don't have to go to the heap. An array is inflexible. Isn't as flexible as the vector type, A vector is a similar collection type provided by the standard library that is allowed to grow or shrink in size because the content lives on the heap. Okay. If you're unsure whether to use an array or a vector, you should use a vector. Okay. Yeah, because I guess easier to work with, yeah. Arrays are more useful when you know the number of elements that you will not need to change. Yeah. So if I wanted to create an array, I can say let A and I assign it. Wait, hold on. How do I even? I'm trying to find my square brackets. Do I even have that thing here? It's just so far in my keyboard. I don't know, like, did I show this? So yeah, I have this custom thing. Yeah, that yeah. Well, it makes things easier, like, but yeah, of course, you need to get it needs some getting used to, yeah. And I also have this stuff for relaxing my wrists. Yeah, it's pretty comfortable. Okay, but anyway, so yeah, the array, as you can see from here, the type is unknown and the length is 0. So it's going to be inferred when we start adding values. So if I say like 5, yep, it's an I32 been inferred, and the length is 1. Okay. Okay, so for an array, you need a type and you need the length. What happens if I don't? Wait. Come on. I32. Do I need a type? Wait. Okay, type is something that has to be there. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. But it's another way to initialize the values by default, I guess, right? Like, let's see. Yeah. I think you can initialize an array to contain the same value for each element followed by a semicolon. So basically, hello. Hello. Okay. So let's create another array. This, if I say 3 and 5, then this would be I don't need to do anything here actually. Why does it not? Why is not? what is that? 3, 5. It doesn't. No. The difference is that. No, wait. Excuse me. Yeah, the difference is not. This is an assignment, while the other one is just declaring the type. Okay. So you're assigning it here and saying the initial value for each array element should be 3, while the size will be 5. Yeah. So if I did for I in B, no wait. B I want to go through. I want to iterate over the values in this array. I can go like this, right? No, that's not what I want. Can I do this? Yeah, I can actually. The loop variable I is used to index. What does that mean? It says unused variable. Wait. Okay. I needed more room. It says the loop variable I is used to index B. Further documentation is there. If it's intentional, prefix it with an underscore. Consider using an iterator and enumerate. That's like, right. I item. B dot enumerate. How do I see this? Oh yeah, because it's not complete. Why is it not loading? What is the address? Oh, I see.
Something new in your head, something sweet in your life. When you fall in love, it's a kind of miracle. When you fall in love, it's a kind of chemical. Walk on
Yeah, I think.
the side, touch almost the sky. In
Okay.
between dreams.
So checks for loops. Wait, let me. What was it?
Something
Yep.
wild in your mind. When you fall in love, it's a
Wait.
of miracle. When you fall in
Yep. So what it checks for looping over a range of 0.
touch almost
Oh wait.
the sky.
I think I lost where that is.
Dreams.
Oh come on, where is it now?
When you fall in love, it's a kind of miracle.
Yeah. So checks for looping over the range 0 to length. Some collection. Yeah. Why is it bad? Just iteration the collection itself makes the intent more clear, probably faster. So the example is this. Yeah, doing this at length. This is what I did exactly. And he's saying you have the vector, just go through the vector. Right. Okay. Why it's bad is because iterating the collection itself makes the intent more clear and it's probably faster. It eliminates bounce check that is done while indexing. Right. So he doesn't want us to use indexes, yeah, to access this. So it basically wants me to just do for the actual element in the array in this case. That's pretty. Yeah, but why is this U size? Okay, at least that's for 8, so I32. So okay, so going through each value and then item. I think we don't need to do that anymore. Come on. Okay. Okay. So you can iterate over the actual value or values in the array or in the collection. You can do the same with your vector as well. All right. I think we were. I don't need this anymore. Probably was looking at data types. Yep. But we were looking at arrays. Where did okay. We went all the way to arrays. We left off here. Okay, so we look at the array type, how to initialize or declare an array. Yeah, the type. An array has the same type. All elements have the same type, and it has to have a fixed size. So that's the important thing. You have to specify that. This is one way to specify it. Another way is like so. This is explicit. You have to say what the type is and the length. Other ways to initialize everything. This will become the initial value, and this will be the length. So, and for array access, you can just do. You can use the square brackets to get the index of the ith element. Yeah. Okay. So this enter an array index. You enter an index. It's read into index. So you use stdin, standard input library. You call read line on it. You read it to this mutable variable here. Index. If it fails, you just panic with this. Otherwise, you proceed, and then you shadow index, change it from a string to an unsigned integer that we don't know what is or what the size stack is usize, and then you trim the index. As you trim that string you got, remove spaces, you parse it, and yeah, when you parse it, why is it that we can just pass this to an i32 at once? Why do we need a usize? Yeah, I want to check that. And if parse fails, you expect again. And here you can get the element of the array at that index. Okay. Now let's try to write this one ourselves, because arrays are one of the most important data structures. Okay. Okay, so we declare an array then we ask the user to enter an index we parse the index to a numeric type. Or I should just say an integer type. If it succeeds, we access the index of the array, all the while failing if an error occurs. Okay, so I want to do. So let's declare the array. An array of students, or the scores, would be, we can just declare it straight up, or maybe I want to say it's an I32. Wait, no. The type is I32 and the size is 7. We can do that. And then we can initialize it as well and say, even though this is not necessary anymore, because okay, well, okay. So I have the variable. So we declare the array. Next thing we can do is we can try to ask the user to guess an index. Yeah. Okay, that is, I guess, an index, and for that we have to declare a variable. This is a variable that has to be able to change. So yeah. So it will be, let's call it guess. Yeah, should it be guess now? Okay, it can be guess, yeah. And it should be so for us to use this, we have to. You should really pick up your phone. Right. Why? Someone to talk to while you're broken all alone. 'Cause I can't change the world, but I can make you smile. stdio. I need to bring this into scope, but why does it not work here actually? Wait, let me if you need that, I can be there, and I'll fly to the edge of the world for you. If you need that, I can be there. 'Cause I really don't think that you
tonight. And I really think I should come over for.
So I expect that when I do this,
And the truth is I can't
Wait.
stand to see you hurt
so
this way.
when I do this,
And I'll drive to
I do enter. Should bring it in scope, but it doesn't do that.
if you need
So I need to.
I can
I don't want to have to type that by hand.
and I'll fly to the edge of the world for you.
Recipe completion.
Need that I can be there.
Plugin needs to be set up.
And I'll
Supply the accompanying point to use or use text.
for you.
NVM CMP.
I can be there
Okay, so I probably need to fix my
for you.
plugin here. So yeah, but anyway, right now I'm just gonna write that by hand. I don't have the time to do that right now. So I think I can bring it into scope here. Mm. So here I can say IO. That what does I want to bring in? Yeah, I think it's read. Is it not read line? Which one was it again?
In that
STD in.
I can see
Okay,
right there. Oh, in the morning I
read line.
smell your sweet
This is what I'm saying. I have to write it in full. Let me see this.
love's a special thing.
Is this a
I always used to say
read
there's only one way
line?
to love you.
Let's take it takes a buffer, which is the mutable string. This is the reason for the U size. Because yeah, this is the reason I will have to declare that as the U size, because it returns U size. Yeah, this function. This is why. Okay.
This time is true.
So what we need to pass here is
I'll do anything.
something that we create.
There's only one way.
So
Only one way.
I think this is what should be called guess actually, which is a
There's only one way to love you.
string, but this should now be
Gotta treat you right.
index.
Hold you
It
tight.
should be index, yeah, because so now this is a result of use size and error, yeah. So by the way, I need to make this give me more room. So
When the night is cold.
read line,
Oh, that's all I wanna
it's giving me result of this and that. So how to convert from a result to a use size?
get real close.
So I think one of the first things to do is probably to expect. Let's take care of the error first of all.
Only one way. Only one way. Only one way. There's only one way to love.
Reading guess.
One way to love.
Okay.
One way. That's what I'm gonna do.
So we've taken care of the error, but I haven't done anything yet. So let's now
There's only one way.
we have, so we need to get we still have an OK to read from. What happened if, and that's a use size. I don't have to pass it, right? Do I have to get the OK? I can't pass it yet. It's results. Come on. Okay. So the signature actually, yeah, it takes mutable reference, so you have to give it that. It's a mutable reference it takes, but I'm looking at actually at the how to get the OK value and then the value that is inside of the result. You can do it like this. I mean, this is the match. These are the arms. But what if not that? Why can't I process it inline? I can actually. How do you convert from a result to the value? By the way, this doesn't work, so this needs to be first of all, guess has to be mutable, and then this has to be mutable reference to guess. Yeah, this doesn't need to be mutable here. This doesn't apply. Okay. Okay. So you don't expect on the read line. Now we need to get the OK. I need to see what is here. What values we have on this. Okay, so this is actually on result. Let's check result. Come on. Okay. You have functions to deal with result. To get the OK value. Yep. You can actually do is OK and right. But that's conditional for tests. Okay, these are these are. That's not what I'm looking for. So convert result to an option, but that's not it. Map results. No, that's not what I'm looking for as well. I also don't want to open. I don't want to do a match. I know you can do that inline. I need to try to remember what it or. This is read to string. This is just inspects the error. Calls a function with that. No. So what I want to do here is return the use size value. Oh wait, hold on. Is there anything else we're supposed to do actually? Wait. Actually not. Okay. So this returns use size and error. When I call expect on it, I already handled that. So what happens when you call expect? Ah, yes. So expect is going to return the contained OK value, consuming the self value. That's what I was looking for. It was already there, like we already did it. All right. Okay. So what's error do? Gives you an option. Expect returns the contained OK value. Okay. Well, that's it. We were able to. Now we have an index. Yeah. So this is the index that the user entered. Now we need to shadow this, and then we're going to say index dot by the way, we also need to trim this. Where do we? This is the. So we have it. We have this in guest now. Yeah. Wait, hold on. So again, we have guess, which is a mutable string. By the time we pass it here, guess would be the index that this because we asked them to enter. We want them to enter the I think I should even print that line here.
Can't deny it, so don't try it. Maybe you're the flyest, and if it all goes down, I know I found a boy to break me down.
Okay. And then they're gonna enter that as guess. It's going to be, then we start there as guess. So why do I need this now at this point? Really, I don't, right? But this is going to
Come back to my home to look into my eye. Evening falls again. It's getting so late. Come
oh wait,
to my home.
we are
Even it's
we are getting the entire line.
happy days come
Yeah, that's what we read
and you hide
into the guess.
pretty one.
We need to trim that because it's possible that,
In your smile.
okay,
You gonna love me like nobody does. I'm gonna love you like nobody does.
you can call trim on this. Where do we trim that?
You're gonna love me like nobody does.
Guess.
In a sweet
You read the entire line. So let's say, yeah, we've already read the entire line. But this is not. This is not necessary.
you and me like two new
Yeah.
just you and me.
Okay. Then we should be able to say,
To look into my eyes. You're gonna love me like nobody loves.
uh-huh.
Love me like nobody does.
What if there is a string? What if I trim a string? What happens?
Just you and me like two new lovers. Just you and me
RST
face to face.
method.
Come on back to my
I guess it's not on string. It's probably on something else. str trim.
You gonna love me.
Okay. This is string.
I'm gonna love you
Okay.
like nobody does.
So we trim that. Okay. And then we can access the array index.
Driving down the bay at night, waiting for the evening tide, sailing with you by my side, sailing till the sun was bright.
There's a way to do that automatically actually,
Every time I'm in this place, you're just a blaze.
but we don't have so many references.
The scent of you comes like a wave, takes me back to lazy days. Endless talks about a plan, synchronizing silences. Still don't get the drift. How love can make us scared. Why when you have to leave, but you decide to stay anyway. Think I'll try to get some sleep. I know we'll find our way one day. Visions of my lifetime. Every time I think of you, you're just a kiss away. The scent of you comes like a wave, takes me back to lazy days. Endless talks about a plan, synchronizing silences. Still don't get the
What's the issue here?
how love can make us. Why did we have
Is it referenced already? So then what? So what's the issue? Cannot be accessed. Oh, I-32. Oh yeah. Exactly. So parse.
love you?
Turbo fish operator.
Driving down the bay at night.
So what is the issue now?
Tide, sailing way
Type I-32 cannot be indexed by
till the sun
reference to I-32.
flashes of my lifetime. Every time I'm in this place, you're just a blaze.
So then now what? I-32 cannot be indexed by an array.
I love you.
This is I-32. This is also I-32. Do I need to do, what about, and then if I say okay, let's see what the error is. So I need to access the array index. This is type array that contains I-32. Values in the type cannot be indexed by I-32. Not sure what this means. What is the problem? I just want to access the array index. Can't I do scores 2, for example, or say oh come on. Can't I do this? I can. Yeah. So why can't I do Okay, so we have the same issue now. Why? The type items cannot be indexed by that. So, but if I use a literal here, it works. The trait slice index is not implemented. Required for i32 to implement this. So that doesn't exist. But array, wait. That's the problem. It's supposed to be I size. Okay, so array index, array access is done by using I size. That's why we when we try to do what I think readline also returns U size. Okay, we got it. So let's remove this. It's not necessary anymore. This cannot be i32. It should be U size. Let's convert this to a U size. Okay, now it works. Okay. But it didn't ask me to do anything. It didn't ask me to do anything. Go on. Okay. It's supposed to print this and tell me to enter what I want to print. Stop here and then print this line. Maybe. Okay. Okay. Something wrong or what? Is our main function? What is wrong? I said it should print this. Wait. Okay. This is index here. Index is this. Okay. Can we try to do this again? Okay. So print didn't work, but print line works. Interesting. Let me see. Let me do 5. Okay, so the index value at index 5 is 68. Okay. Yeah, but why did print not work, but print line? Print macro. Didn't print when running cargo run. Come on. But print line macro does. Doesn't flush the buffer automatically. Output is buffered by default, so it waits until the buffer is full. And the program exits for printing. Print line works because new line character triggers a flush. Points me to this. The Rust book. I want you to show me this in the Rust book. It doesn't actually cover this. Okay. Okay. Wait, no, but there's a chapter on guessing game has to wait for input. Exactly. Oh, the explicitly mentioned needing to flush standard out before it to show up before read line is called. Are you for real? Oh shit. Sorry, me and my new keyboard. Yeah. Lovely beginner again. It's nice. Yeah. So I'm just trying to check why the print doesn't flush or whatever. Yeah. Why it doesn't stop there? Wait, it's the guessing game. Print line. Input a guess. Okay. Oh, this is what they did. They actually use print line. Input a guess. I see. But you were telling me. You're right, my mistake. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's it for now. Okay, so I don't know how long how has that been? Like 3 hours? Almost 3 hours, 30 minutes? Yep, so it's been some months since I touched Rust. I'm just trying to go over things again. Yeah, just quickly. Probably today is like Wednesday. Should be done with the Rust book maybe by Friday or Saturday, I guess. Yeah, and then try to. I also have like a program that I need to finish as well in Rust. Let's see. All right. Then see you. I probably would continue maybe later in the night or tomorrow. Yeah. But yeah, this one is not really structured. I just want to like hit it and just get back to doing Rust as soon as I can. Yeah. All right, then have a good day, or see you later. Cheers.